get a few stragglers on where they just YouTube serves them up. Hey, this channel just went live. Maybe you want to watch it, and then
And
people
they're like,
watch
yeah,
us.
maybe
Maybe
I
I don't.
do.
It's just two white guys setting
Yep,
up their sound equipment. How exciting
exactly.
is that?
Hello, everyone. Yes. Okay, so
Two
I'm
white guys
trying
setting up
to.
their sound equipment. That's the name of our show.
Yeah, this is the craziest thing. I was trying to start Gmail so that I could follow the link to the Zoom call and talk to you, which is not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to set up Audacity.
Yeah.
This
I
is why I'm a little bit late. Jennifer normally has all of her stuff set up, and so I just have to open a new window and start Audacity.
ah.
I'm gonna skip
Oh, that's
and
weird. Why are you?
Ben Lawrence.
Pogoody.
Hey, how's it going, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Happy Friday. We are recording a day later than we normally do.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter to anyone because you still post them pretty much the same day,
Sometimes.
no matter.
I think last week's episode got posted Wednesday night. Um,
Ah,
just because I didn't write it down on my to-do list. That's exactly why. I forgot to write down post GL episode 320, whatever the heck it was, 324. And yeah, I just completely forgot. And
I used to
also,
think of. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
that means I didn't post our song either. So that is still in the wings waiting to be posted sometime somewhere.
And by our song, you mean the 30-minute thing that we made specifically to be unlistenable to anyone.
Exactly. However, we
And it's
failed.
full of secrets.
We failed because I think it is actually rather listenable.
Hey, good. I mean, bad. Uh,
So there are
I'm
some
Oscar
secrets.
the Grouch.
Should I post it with the screenshot I sent you when you asked me about a certain thing? The randomness.
No, no, that thing.
That is a secret.
We should only know, and the other people have to figure it out.
All right.
I think. Yeah, like I said, Ben, I ended up not doing any music because since the drum, this is the problem. It's a technical problem on my end that may be solved. I'm really interested if you send because I found that for GarageBand folder, right?
Yeah.
That we talked about.
It's not the easiest.
I'm wondering if you take a GarageBand, export like we did originally, and send it to me, and I put it in that folder, if I can import it. Like, was I just trying to import it from the wrong place? Can you hear me,
Maybe.
by the way?
I can. I just can't. Now you're back.
Okay. Yeah. I get spam calls from Seattle all the time, and it's of course because I still have a Seattle phone number. Oh
Right.
no! Now
They-
someone can
they-
call me if they figure out the last 7.
I've actually gotten. If they can figure out the last 7. If they can guess your phone number, they know how your contact.
If they can
information.
guess my phone number, they can call my phone number, Ben.
Have you ever been called by your own number?
No, but I've heard about that.
Yes, spam callers have gotten clever enough to spoof your own number when they call, and so you're like, "Why is my phone number calling me? And can I block it? Is that going to do something weird?"
Yeah. Wow. Interesting.
I don't know how
Yeah,
many
that
calls
is
I have
true.
blocked.
There are a bunch of people that probably are blocked by me who are perfectly fine people.
Yeah.
It is funny also. The idea, well, can't the police do something about this? No, it's international. And also, the police often don't do things about other things. People, and this is I guess one of the things is that people have a incorrect idea of what the police do based on the police PR that we get when we're kids.
Right.
I mean, living in Seattle, I found out, oh, if somebody breaks into your car and takes something, the police don't do anything
Nope.
in general.
You know what they want you to do? They do want you to still report it. That way they can assess the crime rate, right? They
Oh
want to know
yeah.
they want to know what happened, but they're not going to come and arrest some or try to find whoever did it.
Now, here's the one thing I was thinking about. If they catch someone in that area, and everyone who has had a break-in in that area has reported it, they can say, there have been a lot of break-ins around here. Did you do any of that? Oh, Jennifer has a new thing that she hates me talking about, which is the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial.
Is that
I think we're
still
talking.
going on?
Yep, yep. It's got at least another week. But I know that the judge said they wanted to be done with it by Memorial Day. Here's the thing, Ben. I don't know if you know about this, but in this particular trial, people get a certain amount of time, and the defense has like 8 hours left.
Okay.
Prosecution has 18 hours left, so 10 more hours. It's pretty crazy.
Wait, now is it Johnny Depp suing Amber Heard? So the
That is correct.
prosecution. Okay, gotcha.
Is Johnny Depp side of things. This is an interesting thing, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, Ben, but on the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, do you have an opinion? Are you one side or another? And I'm asking you this as a control thing.
Okay. I have no opinion one side or the other. Because I don't. Well, A of all, I don't care. B of all, I've heard such different things in the media. I mean, I'm not going to form an opinion on who's right or who's wrong in this instance.
Yes. So here's the thing that's interesting. The reason I ask is that I have been watching the trial. The reason that I got into it is because I have a book about how to tell if people are lying, and I'm like, ooh, I can use the techniques from the book and see if people are lying. And this is the thing that I don't know. The thing that I will say, you know how I have special interests, things that I get really, really interested in, and make other people sick of them, and then I move on to something else. Exactly. Well, one of the things I have is, again, this idea of lying, how to tell if somebody, because people do lie, right? Happens. How often do they do it? Can you tell when they're doing it? All that sort of thing. That's how I started doing it. And as I was watching it, now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I am leaning towards Johnny Depp in this thing. Am I leaning to Johnny Depp because I know I've like figured out what really happened based on watching the trial, or is it because Johnny Depp has much better lawyers? And I honestly can't tell you, but he does have much better lawyers.
Yeah. I mean that's their job is to convince you and 12 anonymous other people to side with Johnny Depp.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It is interesting though. There's one specific thing that a lot of this is hinging on in my head, and that's that the defense team put up two different pictures, right? And Amber Heard testifies that these pictures were taken on the same day. It's just that in one of them a light was turned on and the other one it wasn't.
Oh, is this the one where they're comparing, like, she's claimed he'd hit her, but then she went to like some event later that night and looked fine?
No, that's a different thing.
Okay.
She alleges abuse on a couple of different occasions. And in one of the pictures, it looks red on the side of her face, and the other one, it looks less red, right? And the prosecution says, is this not the same photograph that you have just moved the saturation up on?
So she doctored a photo.
And that's her claim. And she's like, no, these are two different photographs. I had a bedside table light turned on. Here's the thing, though. You know about this power that I have to compare two photographs. The which ones are wrong. I can do it almost instantly because of the way that I can do this thing with my eyes. It's not a magic power. It's a physiological like trick that I learned when I was a kid. Those two photographs, Ben, and the thing that's tricky is that there's one video clip of the trial where they're comparing a bunch of different photographs, right? So I'm only talking about the one thing where there are two things side by side, and they said that the saturation is up on one of them. In that instance, those are the same photograph. And but the reason I say that is because there are individual hairs that line up. Like you cannot take a picture of yourself and then another picture of yourself, even in rapid succession, and have everything be exactly the same. So because of that, one instance where they represent that as being the two different photographs when they are in fact the same photograph, throws everything else out. The credibility is gone as far as I'm concerned.
Boy,
And it's crazy.
You must have just ripped through those highlights magazines then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Give me a highlights magazine. I'll show you. Like, I'll read off the differences like instantly. Oh, if in fact, oh,
You have
okay.
one in the
For the next
room, don't
no,
you?
no, for the next video, ooh, what if I pull a spot the difference up? See, it needs to be something that you give me, not something that I find myself.
There
But
was
we should
one
do
I
this
saw.
sometime.
There was one I saw that was posted to Reddit. I don't know. It's actually reposted constantly, and it's one of these spot the difference pictures. And it's like, can you spot the 13 differences? And like, there is no 13th difference. There's only 12 differences in the photo, and it's probably like
Gotcha.
a troll or something, or either that,
Yeah.
or the 13th thing is just so minute.
Oh, that sounds great. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Like, this photo was printed on an Epson inkjet printer, and this other photo was printed on a Canon, and so the dots are different.
But yeah, it's an interesting skill. I can use it to like compare handwriting samples, stuff like that. It's again, probably not admissible in court, but I, without a shadow of a doubt, can tell if a photograph is the same or not, or what the changes are to
You sound
photographs.
very confident about that.
I am not, and you know this about me, not very confident in any other situations, but with this, absolutely very confident.
I saw, before the trial, I saw a clip of, it was like I can't remember who planted the camera. It was like a secret camera. It must have been from Amber's side, because it was Johnny Depp being like, it was like 10 o'clock in the morning and he's completely wasted. Like, he had been up all night drinking and doing whatever.
Is that did something bad happen to you today? That
do
one?
not recall what happened. I just
Does he
remember,
eventually find the camera?
I have no
in this
idea.
clip?
I just remember
Okay.
this one bit where it's a hidden camera and he's drunk.
I-
I don't remember any physical violence at all, but that's why I even though I'm not paying attention to the trial, I haven't picked sides, because I'm like, and I've said this before, both sides are probably wrong.
Okay, so here's what I can tell you from the trial. Johnny Depp is a mess, right? For sure. Most people who are not part of this group say that they have not seen him do anything physical to her or anybody else, that he will destroy objects, but he doesn't hurt people. That's the
Yeah.
basic
Okay.
concept. Um,
I mean, but still,
there's
you
a
try to convince a defense lawyer that, you know, breaking objects is just a stepping stone to hurting people.
right. Well, and this is the thing: is that what the defense is trying to do is equate doing drugs, Johnny Depp doing drugs, with Johnny Depp enacting violence
Yeah.
on objects, and then equate that with him enacting violence on people.
Right.
And then, so a lot of the people that they have brought in are people saying, well, he's irresponsible. I think he's on doing drugs, drinking, and all that kind of stuff. The problem is that they haven't made those connections, the chain well enough. So you've got a lot of people going, yeah, he is on drugs and drunk a lot. Yes, doesn't mean that he did this other stuff. And that's kind of what I think his team is sort of trying to show too. I don't know though. I feel as though the thing that he has to prove is that his the allegations against him were what made it so that he wasn't in Pirates of the Caribbean 6.
There's 6 of those?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, no, there are 5 of them.
There were 5.
There may be a 6th.
I had no idea there were 5 at any rate.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I heard. That this suit is coming about because her allegations have cost him work.
So it's about $50 million. And, his reputation in general, stuff like
Yeah.
that, $50 million. She is countersuing him for $100 million, which is the other thing that makes me go, huh, interesting.
So if he got fired off of Pirates of the Caribbean, is she still doing Aquaman 2? It's the only franchise I know she's in.
So that is the only franchise. She got $1 million for Aquaman, $2 million for Aquaman 2, and she got her money no matter what. The only question is if she's going to be in the film or not.
Yeah.
Or how much she's going to be in it. They said there's some script cuts. The thing is that what her lawyers are saying is that she is now never going to get hired for anything again. And this is the thing, right? They were trying to prove that that Johnny Depp is, defamed her, right? So they have her agent, and her agent makes the statement: if someone accuses you of domestic violence, you will have a hard time finding work again, which is the exact thing that the prosecution is trying to prove. So that is going to come up in their closing argument for sure. There are a couple of things like that really might come back to bite them. Also, when I say also, I'm starting a different topic. There's one person. His last name is Drew. He is the ex-boyfriend of one of the people, one of the witnesses, because he's a witness for the defense,
Okay.
as well. But he is the most believable out of the defense's witnesses, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like a lot of the other defense witnesses
came right out of central casting,
contradict themselves or contradict each other's stories and things like that. I really honestly believe that he did his best to answer truthfully to what he saw. And the problem with his testimony is that there was a period of time when they sent him to another area. And when I say they, I mean his girlfriend at the time, fiance, whatever, sent him to another area, said, you go here, I'm going to go and talk to Amber. And then they were alone in the room for a while. So he can't definitively say that what was observed was actually what happened. There's this thing of doubt. If he had been in that room and said, "Yes, I saw, I saw this happen," if he had been in the room where it happened, then
The room
it would,
where it happened.
yeah, it would be able to sway me a little bit more. But it was funny. It was the only that was the best witness that they had, and then all the other witnesses afterwards, no one was there, no one knew anything, that sort of thing. And it's character, basically just Johnny Depp character assassination rather than defense against Amber Heard stuff. So yeah. So anyway,
Well,
sorry, but I'm trying not to do that.
You try not to talk about the Heard Depp trial, the Depp Heard trial.
By the time that this is over, the last of my run is GM of the Annex Games arc that we're on right now will have ended.
Concluded, yeah.
Have you and the other members of the team talked at all about how we're going to broadcast stuff yet?
How we're going to broadcast stuff? What do you mean?
How we have maps? Because Laura and I talked about the map itself and how to do it and ran through it. I was just wondering if you'd had a little thing like that as well.
Yes. So this setup is becoming a lot more complicated. So what's going to happen is Laura will have the map on her computer. Yep. It comes into a switcher here at the command station that's also you are connected to. So I can switch between you and the map up on the wall, so everybody will be able to see the map on the big screen. And when that happens, it'll also be broadcast, so you'll be able to see it on Annex Theater's Zoom box.
Well, what I'm most likely going to do is watch it on another screen.
Yeah.
Because I also have a login for it, which will mean that I won't have the lag. But here's my question. Yeah. Sarah 9 is going to be calling in.
Correct.
Is Sarah 9 going to be broadcast to anybody or an audio? How is that going to work for the other players?
She'll be on the Zoom call, same as you. So the two of you are going to be on the same Zoom call. So
sort of like side by side, sort of.
Well, not on the big screen. So you're going to be on the big screen, but Sarah 9's going to be
on the feed. Sarah 9 will be
her own thing.
Yeah.
So it's not like she's a second, game master.
So we'll have table people, Sarah 9, and the map all on the feed. Me and the map are going to switch places every once in a while.
Yes.
When I'm not on the screen, will you still be able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't have to do anything. The only I will be switching on my end, so you don't have to touch your controls or anything.
And Laura's going to be moving all the different people, and then I'm going to keep track of the bad guys' hit points. And like if they hit and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, this should be great. It'll be we'll learn by doing. Yeah. Again, I am glad that I learned that I don't like live streaming. When I here's the example. This, you and me talking, absolutely no stress. It's time to do the podcast. Oh yeah, I'm going to do the podcast. Same thing, GudeLaurance, no stress and all that. Doing an actual play, same amount of stress as doing live stream. There's just an extra. There's something about it.
I know what you mean. I mean, Laura and I spent like a couple hours last Saturday testing this thing out. The new microphone box.
Oh yeah, how's that going?
It works really well, actually.
Good.
And then yesterday we spent a couple more hours setting everything up. I've spent I don't know how much time like hooking things up, testing stuff, figuring out how to do stuff. This episode is a lot more complicated than any of the other ones. And yeah, this time I actually have a monitor that the players will be able to watch the output from the.
Oh, good.
So
Yeah, that's cool.
they'll be able to see what's going on. Because I didn't want Sarah and I to get lost in the fray. Because if everybody's in the room and they can see you, it's like you're in the room, but then all of a sudden you hear this voice saying something. That just felt a little disconnected to me. So I set up a monitor so they'll be able to see at least her in the scene with everybody else. And
That's very good.
We'll see how I'm got a new switcher. I'm going to use my laptop. We have a brand new streaming box. So many things going on.
The other thing is that I'm very excited. The local gaming store here, and I are collaborating to maybe do a game at the store of Wanderhome, Wanderhome, Wanderhome.
Wanderhome.
And it's so good, Ben. It's
One
such
word
a
or
great
two?
one word.
Okay.
Such a great system. A great setting, feels really nice. So that'll get me my fix of role playing stuff as well. But again, and this is the big thing, and I can't stress this enough. It kind of goes back to how I felt about improv as well. That it's more. I like focusing on the people doing the stuff rather than making something for an audience. Maybe that's why I'm so hostile to audiences in general. Because I actually don't want them there. Maybe that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a bad thing if you're running a theater, of course.
Somebody did a show. I can't remember where, but this was a number of years ago where it was like a performance. I think it was just a solo performance, but they only allowed an audience of one, so only one person could watch this show on any given night.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Did people? Was it a coveted ticket then?
I have no idea. I didn't go see it
because I could see that where somebody's like, "Ooh, well, I want to be the person." I could also see I'm only doing this show for one person, and still having to paper the house.
Having your mom
inside
come.
Baseball. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, so I had the YouTube chat covered up with the text window, but apparently we had a viewer I don't know who commented.
Oh, what did they say? Oh, wait. First of all, before you read it out loud, is it anti-Semitic?
No.
Okay, good. All right. I've fallen into this trap before. Oh, what they say. Well, I really don't want to read it.
Well, I wouldn't have brought it up if it leaned in that direction, but it does lean into sort of the.
Now I'm thinking about all the times that you haven't said anything and just been looking at the YouTube chat. No, but go ahead.
This does lean towards the suggestive. User
I
don't know what we were talking about. User optimistically cynical.
Oh.
Optimistically cynical commented.
Contradiction.
There once was an old lady who swallowed a fly. That's the first comment.
Uh-huh.
The second and final comment, and this is where it gets suggestive, that's not all she swallowed.
Huh.
And then they bounced out.
Well, I'm sorry that we didn't comment on that joke.
It's how dare us.
Did we talk about a sequence of events at all?
Nothing that connects to that. Again, it's probably somebody who's just cruising the live YouTube channels.
Did I tell you about the "Why did the chicken cross the road" joke? That I for years I've been trying to figure out why it's funny, and now I know.
Okay, no, you haven't told me that. Lay it on me.
It is a funny joke. and you have to know the context in which it became popular. Why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? Right? We think of it as being sort of a Zen koan, like, why does anyone cross the road? They want to
Or
go
it's
to
also like one of the first anti-jokes, you know? It's not really a punchline, it's just...
And yet, Ben, around the time of the joke's popularity, spiritualism, communicating with the other side. What is the other side? The land of the dead, Ben. Why did the chicken cross the road? Chickens who cross roads get hit by cars.
Death. Yeah.
The road represents death. To get to the other side, to die. The chicken crossed the road to die. And that's exciting.
Show your sources, sir. When you said when this joke was popular, spiritualism was big.
Yeah, when automobiles became all the rage, because they were driving. But when you have a horse-drawn carriage, chicken crosses the road. Most of the time, you don't hit it that much. When cars got faster, lots of things being hit. Here's the other thing: Al Jerry, who did Ubu Roy, and the architect and the Emperor of Assyria. I didn't know this. Playwright died in 1907.
Was that before or after Lord of the Rings?
Before, Ben.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings, 1930s, I believe. Oh, we never found that out. Also, sorry that everyone had to wait for this. The 5 pillars of hip hop.
You looked that up, didn't you, on that show?
Right. No, we looked it up after the show, and we said, well, we'll tell the people afterwards.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
At least I think. Maybe we did. But so there's graffiti, rap, breakdancing, DJing, and knowledge. Knowledge was the 5th one. Everyone forgot about it. When I say everyone, I mean you and me.
Well, I didn't even. I hadn't even heard of the 5 pillars of hip hop before you mentioned it.
Yep.
That's how far away from hip hop culture I am.
Pretty excited. Yeah, it was very interesting, Ben. In the 80s, and I'm going to say in the late 80s mostly. In
the ladies.
Rural Illinois, the ladies. Yeah. Hey ladies. Hey late 80s. The Beastie Boys.
Hey ladies.
Pioneers. But no, it was in Southern Illinois in the late 80s, there was a interest in hip hop culture. Mostly fueled by one guy named Jay Christians, who was in the small town where I lived. But he was a big Run DMC fan.
I like.
But then again, you've got St. Louis as well, that had some hip hop culture.
So
I found a. Oh, sorry.
Here's a question.
You were going to start a new thing. Yeah.
I was going to go ahead, finish your thought, and then I'll start a new thing.
Well, I was going to say I was walking around St. Louis one time, and I found an Eric B. and Rakim tape. I didn't know who they were, and there was no identifying information on the tape. But eventually, I learned that it was Eric B. and Rakim.
So does St. Louis have a side in the West Coast versus East Coast culture war in hip hop?
Unfortunately, I don't know enough about St. Louis to know for sure, but I do know enough about St. Louis to make an educated guess.
Okay.
And that's that it's St. Louis versus everybody. St. Louis is full. I think right. I've mentioned to you. If I haven't done this before, I will tell you and get ready to bleep, Ben. Make a time code check.
Oh God!
Because I have to. So there was a guy, and he was asked. This is a man on the street interview quote about St. Louis. What do you like best about St. Louis? Nothing. I hate it here. Well, then why do you live here? Where the fuck else am I gonna go? And that's St. Louis, Ben.
All right.
Now let me although talk about what's good in St. Louis. There are some very good eateries. Of course, Ted Drew's Frozen Custard, famous. They were doing the upside down concrete thing before Dairy Queen did it.
Yeah.
Dairy Queen stole it from them.
I think Wendy's does that as well. The City Museum.
City Museum, obviously. Not been around for a really long time, but very good. We also have, a zoo. I say we. I'm across the river. We've talked about this. There's a zoo. There's my dad was my adopted father was born in St. Louis. My grandmother lived in St. Louis, so I have a
connection.
A kinship there a little bit. Yeah. Science Center, which is good. There's an aquarium that I haven't visited yet, but that's not free. Science Center is free. Zoo is free. Art Museum is free. You do have to pay for parking, but I figure that's sort of like a tax on people from out of town. So they're supporting those areas.
But locals don't drive downtown?
Well, I mean they can, and they probably do, but there is public transportation that you can take if you people say it's dangerous and that people get attacked and stuff, but you can also walk. That's another thing.
Well, there's
again,
pop culture has told me that I think it's East St. Louis, which is the dangerous part of St. Louis.
East St. Louis is actually part of Illinois. It's in Illinois. East St. Louis.
But it may not be Missouri St. Louis, but it's still St. Louis metropolitan area, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Or is East St. Louis like Springville, Illinois? People just call it East St. Louis because they've got a complex.
Well, it's how do I describe it? St. Louis is a bunch of disconnected townships. There's St. Louis City, right, the downtown area, and then St. Louis County with a whole bunch of. And part of the reason that they do that is to disenfranchise the city from the suburbs. So each of them has their own police department, stuff like that. So East St. Louis fragments before it turns into East St. Louis, if that makes sense.
So there's when we were in St. Louis a couple years ago. So there's three things that I know. I've already mentioned one of them, the City Museum. The second thing is it's really close to you, so that's that's a bonus for St. Louis. And the third thing is we went to go see a St. Louis Cardinals game at Busch Stadium, famous Busch Stadium. Oh, and the arch. The arch was closed, but
I want to say that you actually saw it at the. Did you see it at the old Busch Stadium, like the actual Busch Stadium, or the new Busch Stadium? There's a new one.
When was that built? Do you know?
I think you probably went to the new one.
It's possible. I don't know.
Was it circular?
I mean, you can
I guess
see
they're
the
all
arch.
circular.
You can see the arch, or were both stadiums built in the relative same place? I'm gonna look this up because I actually have no idea.
Yeah, take a look and find out. But yeah, the old. Here's the thing. I was once.
There's a lot about. The new one opened in 2006, so yes, it was the new one that I went to.
Yeah,
but they still call it Busch Stadium. I mean, it's called Busch Stadium. So like,
I mean, the Busch family, makers of Budweiser, and Busch, beer, are big in the town. It's a huge thing. Famously, Walt Disney wanted to build Walt Disney World in St. Louis, and at a meeting, and when I say famously, I should say legend has it, urban legend. I don't know if it's actually true. In a town meeting about it, the Busch family made fun of him, and he decided not to build it because of that. Because they didn't want to, they weren't going to allow alcohol in the park. But that's the urban legend. I don't know if it's true or not. So, but the thing is that apparently that's why there's no Chinatown in St. Louis, no international district, because the areas where the stadiums are now used to be that area, and it was
Yep.
it same
Welcome
same
to
thing.
the welcome to the American concept of putting infrastructure projects in low income neighborhoods.
I think I might have mentioned this already. If I didn't, I mean, when I say already, I meant on another podcast. But you brought up East St. Louis. You saw The Watchmen, right?
Yeah.
You know the Tulsa stuff that started the first thing, the Tulsa race
Yeah.
massacre
Yeah.
thing. There was a similar incident that happened in East St. Louis a while back.
When you say a while back, how are we talking? 100 years? Or are we
Around
talking
the same time. Around the
okay?
same time.
So about 100 years
So
ago.
turn of the century. Yeah, and maybe in the 20s, something like that. I'd have to look it up, but it's one of those things that I didn't know about. There's a lot of stuff about St. Louis history that I didn't know about until after I moved back, and part of it is just that I didn't have to know about it, I guess.
Well,
There's
and
a
also the thing about Tulsa specifically is they didn't even put that in the school books. Like it's only been within the last couple of years that the Black Wall Street riots have made it into the primary school textbook. So if something like that similarly happened in St. Louis, I would not be surprised if they didn't teach it.
the concept of sundown towns,
Yeah,
not taught in schools,
which
but
I only heard about from Lovecraft Country. I had no idea that was a thing until
yep.
I watched that TV show.
And it's interesting because before I quit TikTok, there were a lot of TikToks I saw of Black people going, "How do you not know these things?" And one of the craziest things, which is, ask your grandparents
Yeah.
if they've ever attended a lynching. That was one of the things that they posted. I have this challenge, and it's like, well, I can't. My grandparents are dead.
Yeah.
But given the age, I do not think my adoptive parents would have done that. I don't think that they were happening at that time. Maybe when they were well, what am I saying? I think they were born in like 1940, so maybe when they were children, possible. But
My mom's side of the family is from the South, and so I don't think any of my grandparents would have attended something like that. But I would not be surprised if I did have relatives in the great grandparent era or before who.
because I mean they have that point of you've got people that were that age around that time, and someone was going.
Yeah.
They had crowds. So but again, it's one of those things of they said, how could you not know this? It's real easy. You aren't told about it, and for a large part, these classrooms are segregated still, and things like that. So you wouldn't know unless you go out looking for that information, which eventually I did, and it's there.
For anybody watching the stream, I think I just swallowed a hair out of my water glass.
Yeah, I was going to say that's really. I was concerned. That's what I thought was happening. So you did a good job protecting that. Excellent mime work.
Theater, then. I know, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I have a degree in acting. But going back to not telling kids about our terrible past, that is just happening more and more. That is trending in the wrong direction.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Again, one of the reasons I got off social media, I've mentioned this to you before, but I want to be more conscious about what I put in my head, especially as we get closer and closer to reality break, which is going to happen soon, Ben.
Is that coming?
if you
I,
think about it and you can make video about it, nothing there's no there's no proof anymore. Everyone just believes what they believe, and they can have a video that they show their, like, imagine, if you will, horrible parents showing their kids uh what they think a politician does, a video of that politician doing that, and the kid saying, no, I saw it on TV.
yeah.
Again, the thing that keeps me sane somewhat with all this is that we've had these sorts of technology already. Video editing, the idea that you get someone who looks like someone and have reenactments, right? Things like that. We already know about that. We already know that when we see a reenactment, it's not really happening. We already have professional wrestling where people who are pretending to fight each other, and we're always able to keep like a little suspension of disbelief, right? Or the opposite of suspension of disbelief, like a little nugget of, yeah, this I'm watching this happen, but this might not actually be a real thing, whatever
Yeah.
that's called.
You buy in. I
Skepticism.
mean, you buy in. Like with professional wrestling, people understand what they're watching. They're there, for the story, and
Yeah.
that's the made up part. The fighting is real. The wrestling is real. People actually get hurt and die in these stupid things, but yeah, the antagonism,
Man, who was that guy? You might know who that guy is.
storylines are made up.
Did a monologue at in the bottle, I think it was, about the time that he was wrestling, and he drove all the way home with a concussion basically and didn't know how he got home. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that one specifically, but there's a big amateur wrestling culture here in Seattle, and
Yeah.
at one Weird and Awesome, which I remember, Emmett had a member of that
Okay.
community
That's
who plays a heel, but he had some really interesting stories. I don't remember that one specifically, but
but I think it was the same guy. I think it was the same guy,
yeah.
and it may have been at Weird and Awesome that I saw that. Now that I think about it. You
Yeah.
kind of want to be the heel, right? I mean, that's
That's the most fun.
exactly. Yeah. You uh you you want those boos.
They feed
Everyone
you.
hating you. That's got to be intense. Now, but here's the thing. I'm not built that way. I want everyone to like me, and I don't think I would be able to be a heel that good. Or that well.
I think I'd be able to. Okay, well, I'm not wrestling, but I think I'd be able to be a good heel because you've got to be able to separate your character from yourself, right? You can be the
Yeah.
heel. You can go out and do, heel things, and then take that character off at the end of the day and be yourself.
Right. Then that's the thing is that if you're going to be the heel, right, being the Iron Sheik, for instance, is great. Because once you take off the Iron Sheik costume, people won't necessarily remember you.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. You should have a costume is what I'm saying if you're going to be the
Yes.
heel.
And but there are other heels in pop culture, like Anna Gunn as Skylar in Breaking Bad, right? She was sort of I mean, you could say what you want about Walter White being the anti-hero, but people hated Skylar's character, and she got threatened in real life.
But here's the thing. I think the difference is that I don't think when Vince Gillian wrote that character, that's what he thought. He might have had an inkling that is how fans would react, but that's not what she's supposed to be. What she's supposed to be is a realistic portrayal of what a wife might do if she finds out that her husband is this huge drug dealer. Jennifer and I actually make fun of why Skylar got to be such a bitch and mess up Walter's drug trade, because it's exactly that weirdness. Let's see what's going on. I was watching Twin Peaks again. Twin Peaks: The Return. I have it And have you watched it? No. Did you watch the original Twin Peaks?
Never seen it. The
No.
only Twin Peaks I've ever seen is the scene that Eric Ray Anderson and John. Can't remember his last name. We had him on a guest on the show.
Yeah.
As guest on the show. I've only. That's the only thing. That's the only Twin Peaks I've seen. Is that scene.
Well, Ben, I don't want to embarrass you for not knowing John's last name, so I also will not say his last name. He was great. He was great in the. He was great in the show. He was great on the. He plays the trucker. Look him up on IMDb, everybody, and go see and support the other things that he's in because he's a good actor and a good egg. Very, very pleasant guy to talk to.
Yeah, pretty nice dude, and like it was, someone I would not have recognized if I saw him on the street.
Yeah, great example of his heel. The guy that he's playing is not the guy that when you meet him. Sweet guy, very very nice. On that episode though, wow, the hate filled man that he played.
Speaking of new TV shows, the new Kids in the Hall series has come out on Amazon Prime. Were you a fan of Kids in the Hall?
I was a fan of Kids in the Hall. Before I talk about that, because I do want to just say, spoilers for Twin Peaks. I saw commentary that this guy did. It's 4 hours long, but the basic thing that he came up with was that the whole point of Twin Peaks is that TV rots your brain. And he's right. It may not be the only thing, but it really is. It's great. If you're interested at all, everyone, 4 hour watch. Good. Kids in the Hall. I watched one episode of the return of it.
Yeah.
And then I stopped watching it.
I haven't seen it yet, but I see that it's getting pretty mad buzz, right? People are really liking
it. The thing that I can't say. This is what I'll say is that I'm hoping that the we're old now like shtick drops when you get to the other episodes, because there's some really good stuff that they're doing, right? I feel like we're too old to be doing this now, at least in episode 1, and I'm hoping that what they did was they just got it out of the way because they're still funny.
Is it just a commentary on how old they are?
No, but there is definitely some of that. And when it exists, I don't like it. So we'll see. It could be that we're old. That might be why.
I'm interested in seeing it because a lot of the comedy, a lot of the humor that came out from the original series was the Kids in the Hall cross-dressing. And that's sort of become a little bit, I don't want to call it taboo, but not, it's not something that people are comfortable with these days as, straight dudes or just dressing up as women for the comedic effect. Yeah.
And well, here's what I will say for that.
You can dress up as chickens as much as you want, but
I feel as though even in those early ones, I could be wrong, there might be something I'm missing, but them dressing up as women was not the point of the sketch. There were other things going on in the sketch that were funny.
I know, but you try to tell somebody who's looking for something to be angry about, and tell them to be to be mindful of the context and subtext.
Ben, your blatant hatred of the left is just hard to take. Sometimes I'm kidding, but that was one of the things. I almost hate to say this, but one of the dangers about watching commentary about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation is that something I didn't think about. Misogynists are really on Johnny Depp's side.
Yeah.
And so you could be watching
Reddit, it seems, is on Johnny Depp's side.
You could be watching it and people are like, people are, blah, 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 blah. People say the Rittenhouse trial was bad, but I don't know. I feel like justice was done, and you're like, okay, I have to stop. I have to stop because here's the thing. I mean this. I am completely. Uh, I think completely correct on this. I said that I'm not confident usually, but one of the reasons why I'm usually more left leaning is because I try to figure out. We've talked about this before, Ben. I hate to bring it up, but as an autistic person, as a person with a mindset that is currently identified as autistic, I say this because who knows? The new DSM-6 is coming out. I might not meet the criteria anymore, but um, I try to figure out what the true thing is, right? So, trying to find out what the true thing is in this trial right now. Uh, like I said, there are things that are blatantly incorrect. I feel as though that rigor was not done in the Kyle Rittenhouse courtroom. Watching them argue over pixels in the video thing, just I was reminded of it. I had to say it again. Painful conversation.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even compare the two. One was a trial for a kid who like crossed state lines with firearms and killed people.
Yep.
Right. That doesn't compare to two rich people getting mad at each other.
But I mean, it's still the sad thing though. The amount of technical expertise of the people who are doing the defamation trial versus the people who are doing a trial about murder.
Yeah.
Is insane. I don't know.
That's where money goes, man.
Yeah. That's exactly it. We Ben, it's funny. The middle class exists so that rich people can say, you're not poor.
But watch out for those people. Watch out for the poor people because they're going to come and take your stuff.
And then to the poor people, oh, look at how much better these people are doing than you.
Yeah.
Whereas if there were a graph for money, the poor and us would be down here, and there would be like a little spike. Speaking of little spike, I want to say that. Where am I going to go with that? I was going to go with the guy who was. The thing is, Spike wasn't the little guy who was hopping around. That was a different guy. He was talking to Spike. Hey, Spike. Hey, Spike. What are you going to do today, Spike?
Oh, the bulldog and the
bulldog is Spike.
Yeah.
And the little what was that guy's name? Nobody knows, right?
Did he even have a name?
Because Spike didn't ever call him by name. He was just like, yeah. No.
Did Spike talk?
Yeah, but he was very monosyllabic.
Yeah. Spike and Tyke.
Oh, Tyke. Hey, thanks, Ben. That's right. I do remember that.
I remembered it. I didn't look it up on I didn't Google it, but that's a throwback from a different time, that cartoon series. Haven't seen it in a while.
Apparently, there's going to be a free-to-play thing that takes place inside of DC properties, Warner Brothers properties, I guess. It'd be Warner Brothers properties. Called Multiverses, where you play, like you'd be Finn and Jake, or Bugs Bunny, or Superman, or Batman, and then you fight people.
Okay.
And I don't know. I feel like the merging of worlds. You've got the Lego movies, right? You got Kingdom Hearts, you got this versus thing and all that. Eventually, that's where it's going to be, that we're going to live in a virtual world as as populated by commercial characters as it is populated by commercial products, and there will just be no way. Everything is going to be advertisements, even more so than they already are.
I saw somebody's muse on a dystopian future where you go to the kitchen and you go to your fridge. Your smart fridge sees you approach, and it's like, "Hey, you might be you might be low on milk. Maybe you want to pick up some orange juice. Here's some recipes that you might look at. And also, before you open the door, you have to watch these ads."
Yeah, yeah. I wrote a thing actually. We never did it, and I don't know if I even showed it to you, but it was somebody who's crying, right? A person's crying, and it says you have a call from, Amber, and Amber is the daughter, right? And she says, "Mom, I really have to talk to you." And she's like, "Oh, honey, what's wrong?" "First, I have to tell you that the call quality that you're experiencing is because of the new hyperfiber optic." And she's like just sobbing and everything, and she's like, "Honey, just tell me what's wrong." "Mom, I can't until I finish the ad. I have to start over now." That exact thing.
Contractually obliged to do this ad read.
Exactly. And on that note, Ben, I am contractually obliged to tell you that you have to keep it wrong for another 7 days.
Keep it wrong, Paul.
Or
maybe
6.
6 days. Yeah, maybe we'll do Thursday next time. All right.
All
right. Keep it wrong, and I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, I'll talk to you tomorrow. What time?
Oh, yeah.
When will you need me?
I'll text you. We're gonna start tech at 4, but that means we probably won't need you for a little bit after that because people take time to get settled in.
And also, this is the setup that I'm going to use. That should be fine, right?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.